In this lesson, we'll sketch our first caricature of actor Sean Connery. So we just wrapped up our lesson creating our second caricature sketch of actress Cate Blanchett, and I thought it turned out to be a lot of fun, just capitalizing on that really strong chin and jaw of hers. I think worked out really nicely. Just to show you the comparison between those two sketches that we did of her again, I can show you the other one as well. So both of these feel like we've kind of captured the personality and essence of this particular actress, but again, we capitalized and emphasized through exaggeration and simplification on specific facial features to achieve that. So I've saved one of my favorite actors for last, which is the great Sir Sean Connery. And I'd like to point out some defining facial features that have always struck me and stood out to me as I've grown up watching his films. The first one are his eyebrows. He has very thick eyebrows, and his left eyebrow always appears to be kind of arched upwards. Even when you look at him in his younger form in his early 30s here, you can see that left eyebrow still arched upwards. He also has a very sharp nose. His mouth, when he talks, he kind of talks like this. He has that kind of that pursed kind of mouth expression where the corners are pursed in right there. So those are some things that really stand out to me. Now, for this first caricature, I thought it would be fun to maybe capitalize on his forehead. He's lost all of his hair in his later years, and he has a pretty large forehead as well. So I thought it'd be fun for this first rendition to really capitalize on that, make it kind of the forefront, and then have these other defining facial features kind of follow suit. So in doing so, I'm just kind of loosely sketching just kind of an oval shape for the head. And I'm going to be drawing him at a 3/4 view, similar to what we see over here in these reference photos. So just kind of a circular shape for the kind of the cranium. And then I'm just kind of pulling off of that, kind of very similar to what we did with the first Nick Cage sketch, kind of tapering it down, almost light bulb-like, into a smaller neck, and that will really help draw that focus to the forehead initially. And then from there, I'm kind of thinking about a dividing line for where I would like to place the eyes. Also just kind of thinking about boxing in the side of the face there where I'd want the chin to be, jawline, kind of a circular shape for the ear. And if you ever look at Connery's eyes, he always has these very just kind of cool, calm, relaxed eyes. So I'm just kind of thinking about that as I block in just these kind of oval, slightly flattened oval shapes. And then his nose, he's got a very sharp nose in his old form and his young form. So I'm kind of thinking about that, just kind of blocking in just kind of a shape like this where it'll kind of come to a point. All right. And as I also mentioned, he's got these thick eyebrows, so I'm kind of putting in just some boxy shapes just to kind of think about how much real estate I really want to allot to those eyebrows. How thick do I want to really capitalize? How much do I really want to capitalize on that thickness? And then just kind of thinking about, I want to have him with his beard. So kind of thinking about just kind of what that space looks like. And then also just some space for his hair as well. And so with this simple framework, I can now get in here, start tightening things up. I may want to kind of start with that nose, just really kind of tightening it up as well. And if you ever look at his nostrils, he kind of has some pretty strong, defined, almost kind of flared out nostrils as well. And it's very much the same mindset I have that I did for Nick Cage, just kind of coming off those nostrils right there at the top with kind of those smile lines right there. But again, you can kind of already see how I'm containing everything kind of down here. I've left a lot of space up here for the forehead. So kind of working my way back up, kind of defining those eyes. And I'm trying not to get too carried away with how many wrinkles. I mean, he's got a lot of little wrinkles in there. You want to be careful about how far you go with that, because you can go overkill. It can almost become distracting. So you want to kind of pick out the most dominant wrinkles that really stand out to you and just kind of focus on those. So I'm kind of thinking about just the shape of this eye over here, the wrinkles that are around it, and kind of working in that other retina in there as well. And this eye over here, we're kind of seeing less of it because it's at a 3/4 view. And then just thinking about these eyebrows, just really trying to beef them up, make them really thick, strong, bushy eyebrows. And of course, I want this left one, or the screen right, if you will, just to be kind of arced upward just a little bit more. And then we'll have this other one kind of pushed down just a little bit more, probably pushing it down further, exaggerating it further to really help emphasize the arcing of that other eyebrow. And again, just kind of keeping it minimal, only putting in the most dominant kind of wrinkles that we see right there, just for that are a result of arching that eyebrow right there. Let's kind of come down here and start to think about his mouth. You know, he kind of talks like this, and he has an interesting shape to his mouth that he makes. If you look at this image over here, where he kind of gets this kind of pursing, the sides kind of purse in together. And sometimes you'll see just kind of his upper teeth just kind of faintly, just kind of right in there. And to really kind of emphasize, you know, just the way he talks, I'm trying to really kind of define this lowered lip. You know, he's got a pretty defined little lowered lip. You look at this image right here, you can especially see how it's kind of puckered out, and even when he was younger right there. So I'm kind of really trying to define that shape, and I'll just kind of hatch in right there just to really show that that's just a faint bit of his teeth that you're seeing right up there as well. And from here on out, I can just kind of start to really clean up the overall image, kind of think about just the outer contours. Again, I really want that focus, that initial focus, to be on all the real estate I've allotted up here, just on the upper portion of the overall form, working in his facial hair. And for the hair, again, you don't want to get too overly granular. You don't want to get in there and add too many little strands of hair. You want to keep it pretty basic, kind of almost cartoony, and that's what we're really kind of creating here. Is when we do these caricatures, is they're just kind of cartoony renditions of the person you're drawing. We'll get his ear in here as well, and then we'll kind of bring down the neck here, just kind of keeping that as a smaller neck. And then from here, I can start to kind of think about working in trademark tux, and we all know what why he's worn that before. One of his defining roles that really made him just the success that he was and still is. All right, so there's our Sean Connery caricature, and I'm really liking how this is shaping up. Might even kind of do a little bit of hatching there just on the upper kind of mustache area. It's usually a little bit darker, especially when he was a lot younger, when he started growing his beard. So this is a lot of fun, and we can add a few little kind of old man spots up there in the forehead if we want to. Okay, so in our next lesson, we'll go ahead and do our last caricature and our second caricature for the great actor Sean Connery. So stick around. We'll see you then.